like Kim, I started off in nursing. I still do a bit of nursing, and I had the same journey through uni. I tried to drop out. I hated it. It just wasn't for me. But well, the thing was, it was for me, but it wasn't everything that I wanted to be. So when I was younger, I was painfully shy. I was so awkward. I was so socially uncomfortable. Like, the thought of this probably 10 years ago I would have probably collapsed at the thought of it. But I deep down knew that this is sort of what I wanted to get into. But I was scared to admit it, because I think it's very much that like Northern Irish mentality of like, oh, who do you think you are? Like, come on, wind your neck in. And that thing did happen to me whenever I was in school. And I'd done my GCSEs, and I was going to pick my A-levels, and sat down with the tutors, and you had to put down, your first preference and your second preference. And I very much went to a school where everybody did medicine, law, dentistry, accountancy, and those careers are obviously brilliant. And I went in, my first option was media, presenting. I actually wanted to be a weather girl. But now I don't want to be a weather girl anymore, because it's kind of depressing when you live somewhere like this and it's just rain all the time. So I kind of went off that idea. But I went in and they said, okay, media, this is what you want to do. And I said, yeah, I've always been really interested in media. I don't know why, I don't know where it's come from. And like, I used to be that child in school that was always told off for talking. Never done being told off for talking. Put at the boys' table, talk to the boys, so I just ended up sitting staring at a wall in the classroom. So like, just love to chat. And the tutor turned around and said, right, see, your second option here is nursing. Like, just breeze past it. And I remember sitting there just being like, oh, okay. Like, it actually took a lot of courage for me to actually write presenting on that page, because I never mentioned it to anybody. But I thought, this is my chance, I'll put it out there. And I don't disagree with what she said. It was the right thing to do. It was the safe option. It's given me, I love my job as a nurse. I've had some incredible times with it. It definitely was a vocation and what I was meant to do. But equally, you can be on this earth and do more than one thing. People say you're a nurse, or how do you introduce yourself? And I actually don't really know, because I'm a lot of things. But I went through uni, and I didn't really thrive at uni, I'll be honest. I barely got through my degree. I got a job in paediatric intensive care, and I loved it. I learned so much, and it's given me so much gratitude for the life that I have, because I know a lot of the kids that I have looked after won't make it to this stage in life, / will never have the opportunities that I have in life because of the hand that they've been dealt in life. Which is a very heavy thought, but equally when you face that every day in work, it's very humbling, and so I am extremely grateful. And finally I took the push, and I went for Miss Northern Ireland, and I won that in 2018, and I had the best time. I had just a ball with it, and I thought, you know what, this is my time to go for the radio thing. I'm gonna go for it. So I sent an email off, and I just was looking for some direction. And that was 3 years ago, and now I'm on the biggest radio show on the weekends on Cool FM, on the biggest station in the country, and it just went from that one leap of faith. And I was so nervous, even now talking about it. See, now when I go into Cool FM and I see the faces that I grew up listening to, I'm like, I don't really belong here. They're going to catch on to me soon, they're going to kick me out. But do you know what? I have to remind myself, I earned my space there. Those numbers don't lie. We got those figures, we put in the work, and so it's something I'm extremely proud of. So for anybody here who has been, and that's something I've noticed with all the speakers here tonight, every one of us has been told no. Like Paddy with his loan, he was told no, but you went for it because it's what you wanted to do. And that was like me that day when I was picking my A-levels, and I went down the line of nursing, but I just knew that this was something I wanted to pursue. So anyway, so I did that, and I had a great time, and I thought, you know what, I want to go and do Miss Universe now. I was being greedy. I was like, I want another crown, let's go for it. So, I never have too many crowns. So I entered Miss Universe Ireland in 2020. Obviously during the pandemic, I was working full-time in Craigavon Area Hospital. It was crazy, and I didn't win the first time I entered, and I really thought I had it. I'm not a confident, I wouldn't say I'm not a confident person, but I don't always believe that they're going to judge you the way you should be judged. And I think, it's a competition, the judges are looking for things, it doesn't always go your way, but I did think that I had it. Anyway, it was virtual. I was sitting in my living room, we were doing it on Skype or whatever, and I didn't get into the top 3, and I was just like, oh my god, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And naturally I burst into tears, and even saying that now is a bit embarrassing. And I literally tore my hair out. I went up to my room, I changed into my sweats, took my dress off. I was like, Dad, get the pliers. I was like taking my extensions out. I was like, I hate this. I hate my life. Everything's ruined. It's awful. And I I sat for about 3 hours just crying, pulling my extensions out, and which my mum says is probably one of the lowest she's ever seen me. It's really, I can laugh about it now because in hindsight it was hilarious, but at that time I was so heartbroken and I was so like, oh, how did this not go my way? But that's another thing, we're gonna fail, you're not gonna succeed every time. But I knew that I learned, and I went in the second time, and I got it the second time, and I competed at Miss Universe there at the end of 2021, and I ticked off that goal because I didn't take that failure to define me as such. And you know what? I feel like things work out for the best because the girl who won that year that I didn't win is now one of my really good friends, and she's an absolute gem. Her name is Maddie, and she's such a sweetheart. And so I am a believer in things happen for a reason. It just wasn't my time, and that's fine, but I knew that it was something I wanted to do. So, another thing I want to talk about, and I don't really know how this comes in. I don't have even mentioned self-belief yet, but anyway. Believe in yourselves. Sorry, I'm not really sticking to the topic here, but yeah, go for it. Yeah, you can do it. Another thing that I've realised as I got older, I said I'm 27 now, and I realised that your inner circle has to really align with you. And I have a couple of people over there, especially one. Her name is Jess. And she has been my best friend from we were 11 years old. We instantly met. She's saved in my phone as my favourite. She's one of my favourite people. And she's one of those people on those days when I am thinking, I can't do this. Do you know what? Why have they picked me for this job? I'm not good enough. And I'll text her and I'll ring her and she'll slap it out of me and say no. And those people are so key in your life. And I'm so lucky that I have her and I have Annette and I have so many other people in my life that I'm so lucky and I can turn to on those days where I just feel a bit crap. I just think, even tonight on the car on the way here, I'd spilled Diet Coke down myself. I have makeup on my jacket, I have makeup on my trousers, and my eyes are watering. And I was like, Jess, this is just not going my way tonight. And she was like, no, you've got this, you'll be fine. So it's so important. If you have people in your life that are questioning your motives constantly and are constantly chirping away in your ear and adding to that self-doubt, they probably don't have your best interests at heart. Now, the second time when I went for Miss Universe Ireland, my mum and dad were like, right, well, are you going to do this? You know, but they came from a place of love because they saw how distraught I was. They didn't want to go through that drama again. But they came from a genuine place of, okay, do we want to watch our daughter go through this again? And I was like, no, I'm doing it. I'm extremely stubborn, which has taken me a long time to admit. But there were other people in my life who were giving me a really hard time for it and questioning it and sort of taking the piss out of me for really wanting to do it and just didn't see or understand that it does. And I think this is really important as well. You don't have to understand why something is important to someone, but if it's important to them, you should be championing them 100%. And I've realised now I've cut those people out of my life, and all I've heard over the last 2 or 3 months is you're glowing differently now. There's something different about you and we can't quite pinpoint what it is. And I know it's because I don't have that negative energy in my ear every day. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Who are you with? You shouldn't really be doing that. And cutting that out, it's just going to weight lifted off my shoulders. I feel like I'm finally being my authentic self. And which is so important, and it's so easy, I think, in the world that we're in now to try and mimic other people and be another person. And I definitely did it when I first started off on social media and Cool FM, and I was trying to be like the other girls. And the story, like, the reality is, I am not a fashion blogger, I'm not a makeup artist. I tried to be, it didn't work out, and now I found my niche as such. Like, I'll share stupid stuff on Instagram and TikTok because it makes me laugh. And you know, that's how it should be. If you make your, like, I'm my own target audience. And that's how you should be. And I stopped second guessing everything that I do in my life because I had people there that were second guessing me, so I was doing it to myself. And do you know, so I think it's so important. Your inner circle is so key. And ultimately, when I was in that position and I was thinking of maybe ending that relationship, and somebody said to me, oh, but it would just be easier to stay in it. And it would have been easier to stay in it. It would have been a lot easier, it would have been a lot less tears, a lot less tantrums, but I wouldn't have been happy. And ultimately, you have to put your happiness first because, I mean, you have to live with yourself. So anyway, I don't really know if I've talked about self-belief, but hopefully I have lifted you up in some way. I hope that you can authentically be yourselves. And a quote that I heard and I love, and I think it's really good, is you think you can, you think you can't, but either way you're right. So if you think you can do it. But if you think you can't, you're never going to achieve it. So you have to think that you can.